It has been a wonderful 2 days listening to so many talks. Sometimes it was almost like listening to a tragedy, watching a tragedy. Sometimes it was also very inspiring that so many things are happening to mitigate the impact of the climate change, also to reverse climate change. What yesterday Bala was talking about, very different efforts one could think of in reversing the climate change, in addition to behavioral change that others were talking about, that we reduce the carbon emission, change our way of living, so that we actually, reduce the anthropogenic factors which are basically causing the climate change, global warming, and others. At the same time, today we heard the impact of climate change on health. It's not just the health of human, all forms of life, whether they're in the water or in burrows or in soil or in air, or they're flying, what kind of animals or insects or mammals and marine animals. And we heard how much each one of them are being affected. Not just every human individual, every form of life are being affected because of the climate change caused by human activities. And obviously, it's a very complex problem and needs to be addressed using multidisciplinary approaches, not just using the physics or chemistry of climate change to the biology of the diseases that we discussed mostly today in the last couple of sessions. Now, in this context, the 3CS, this conference was organized by Ashoka under the umbrella of its Center for Climate Change and Sustainability. Less we knew when we were conceiving this center just about a year and a half ago, that we would be going through a pandemic in whole of 2020, and still we are not come out in 2021. And when we were actually conceiving this particular conference, just 2-3 months ago, a few online meetings with Ian, Gautam, and others, and what should be the sort of outline of a conference like this, unless we knew that there would be a glacier burst and a deluge at Nanda Devi mountains of Himalayas, causing the extreme damage to the lives and livelihoods and the property in Uttarakhand state of India. So as you could see, the more and more tragedies are being unfolded caused by the global climate change. And I think it's an important problem to be addressed, and it has to be addressed today, if not now. And India is sort of at the edge, very sensitive tropical region in which the impact of climate change and the loss of environmental health is going to affect all of us and our wildlife much more than any other country, I suppose. One is the very typical, the kind of geoclimatic, the area in which we live. Second is the huge diversity within the country, both human diversity and the huge socioeconomic disparity that we have. And the disparity is increasing. Any impact of climate change or pandemic, it's actually widening the gap between people, between have and have-nots at all levels. And this is going to cause more crisis in the shorter term. Of course, longer term, every form of life is going to get affected. And in the shorter term, the socioeconomic differences are widening, and that's going to create more problems in the society such as ours. And I think we touched upon almost all of these topics in the last 2 days. And I thank all the speakers first and the participants who attended the 2-day conference, yesterday and today. And special thanks to Professor Malavika Sarkar, the Vice Chancellor, who actually is the catalyst who brought all of us together in Ashoka, more than 20 faculty under the umbrella of this Center for Climate Change and Sustainability, to be more proactive on some of these issues. Unfortunately, we're stuck by the pandemic and our activities somewhat dampened, but not the spirits are still not dampened. Our activities somewhat reduced, and hopefully we will, get our acts and start working on very different aspects of the climate change and sustainability, both at the education, training, as well as at the research levels. And special thanks to Mayank Mishra and Anirban Chakrabarti, who actually helped at the background putting this together, this conference. And but for them, we would not have been able to be here together online and discussing all of these topics. And of course, thanks to Ian and Gautam, who are being sort of the driving force on all the talks and the whole structure of this conference. And again, thank you all, and we hope to be back for another such conference addressing some of the problems which we didn't address so far. Many of the topics we have not addressed, and also hopefully start thinking of specific solutions to the problems, be on health or the climate change and the global warming. Thank you very much. Thank you again.